typography skills with creativity.
Yeah, welcome guys. So as I said, I will teach you how you can make an apparel logo on your Android smartphone using your Pixellab as usual. So without wasting much of our time, let's start. The brand name is actually the Morin Collection. Morin Collection. So the name of the CEO, or let me say the brand name of that particular apparel shop is Maureen collection. So we want to make a logo regarding that particular brand names. Then we are going to put it in such a way that it will be captivating and awesome for the client to be able to know what we are talking about. So without wasting much time, as I said, let's dive into it. The first thing is to determine the kind of background you want to use. And I have one background in my mind, so let's determine the size. So I want to use the YouTube banner size, which is this. Then I'm going directly to my right up. So I have let me use letter instead of a shape. So we have letter M since it is Maureen. So here is where creativity will come in, because I have to use a background that the font that will really spell out what this is all about. So I'm thinking of using Go Boat. So let's look at the Go Boat. Um, so let's look at the Go Boat. Let's see how it look. Can we use this? So I think the Go Boat will work. And what can we do to make it more okay? So we want to turn it to a picture by hiding this. Then we'll go to a layer and merge the two together. So after that one will give us avenue to stretch it, since we've turned it to that. So now we are talking about collection. So we have C. So let's go to the shape and bring to the font and select C. And can this C work? If it can work, we can go back. We go back and select let's look at a leak. So we have a leak spatter. The leak spatter should be able to work along with this, but the question is I think it should be able to work, because I'm going to cut out part of this, so the rest will be able to be adjusted. So now I've tapped on this, then you click on your mask, enable and click the movement arrow. So that one will give you an avenue to be able to cut out this part the way you want it. So you have to make it straight. So let's straight it first before we even think of cutting it out. So after straightening it, then you move it now. Move it. Very good. So now bring this one down. Then this one a little bit. So we can rearrange this. So now everything is actually plumb, as you can see. Then we are not cutting only that. We need to move it inside now to cut everything. Now you see what I did. So now move it and let it rhyme now, since we've positioned it very well. So click OK. Then you can see everything is already adjusted. So after adjusting it, what we need to do is to position it very well. Make sure that everything rhyme both at the top and at the bottom. Turn on your grid, enable the grid for working. Then you try to position it exactly like this. Then you bring this for positioning as well, which you can see. So now we need to adjust this to make it look more okay. So we turn on this and we position it here. So after that, we need to reduce this. Reduce it. Good. So now position it, reposition and put it properly. Put it properly. Now we have this. Now that after gotten this, then the next thing that we're going to do is to put a finishing touch there. I'm going to put this one here, then it will rhyme with this, which you can see. So I have to put this, then I will copy. After copy, I will position it at the mouth here. So it has to be rhyme. So I can turn on my grid, then position it here to make it rhyme. So after position it, then I can move this little by little to make it reach where it's supposed to reach. So very good. So the second one have to go a long way as well. So we can move it back a bit. So very good. Let's turn it off and see. And you can see that everything is actually rhyme. So right now that we have this, so the next thing that we're going to do is to continue with other things. So I'm clicking on this, then I will bring it down. So very good. So now I have this at the tips of my at finger of my tips. So now I will click on this, bring it down to reduce the spacing between it to make it look more professional. So remember one thing, I make sure that both the alignment are so superb and everything is actually work. So right now you can go ahead and make sure that you mesh everything. After merging, position to the center. So after position, you go with your to the shape. Radius should be 100%, then you have the opacity to be 0, then your stroke to be something like 10 or 14. Now what you are going to do is to just move this to this side a bit. You can click OK for you to be able to move it like this. So after moving it exactly like this, then the next thing that you are going to actually do is to position it to the center. After position to the center, then the next thing you are going to do is to copy. We need to copy that particular shape, exactly this one. Then we'll go back to where we pick it. We are going to increase the stroke, as you can see. So after increasing the stroke, we position it here, as you can see. So we are going to change the shape that we first selected, as you can see. Then we are going to reduce. We position, then we reduce. We reduce that, sorry. So we click the half shape. After clicking the half shape, then we are going to increase the stroke exactly like this. Then before we leave there, we are going to reduce the size exactly like this. Then we stretch this side too, you can see. So we can move it like this, which you can actually see. So you make sure that the two are aligned both at the left and at the right. There shouldn't be any mistake. So if possible, you can increase the stroke a bit just to make sure that everything is actually working. But if you didn't get it that way, we still have another option to do. We can copy as the first thing that we want to do. After copy, you are going to increase the stroke exactly as I'm doing. After increasing the stroke, then you position it here, which you can see. So after position it, go to the align relative position, position well, then you reduce the opacity. Reduce the opacity like this, then you go back to your mask, enable the mask, enable it, then you move it. Move the mask exactly like this. So after getting that, then you turn on the mask actions, then you are going to cut it out exactly like this. So after cutting it out, you click on you move this to this side, then you click OK. Now go back to your mask, to your opacity, enable, and you increase it back. Now do a kind of adjustment by using the position arrow to move it to the top. If you still have any issue or any space in between, you don't need to stress yourself. Just enable the mask, stroke, then let it be black so that it will actually plumb with it. Now position it to make sure that everything is accurate as I'm doing it. If we still have some little particle in between it, then you can go back and refer to your mask by clicking on the moving position, and you move it a bit up so that there won't be any leftover in between it. For better results, you can actually even trim it to the extreme or the line. Let it be rhyme with the line here. So very good. So at the end of the day, you actualize your goal, then you can see the result. Now correct the little error at the bottom. This error, correct it. Correct the little error at the bottom here. Very good. Now the result is out. Very good. Now the next thing that we're going to do is to go to your gallery, and you bring something like hanger. You bring this particular hanger. Don't forget you have to give it the same color. So let's give it black to have a preview of what the result will look like. Then you can see that we are making sense. So the next thing that we're going to do at this juncture is to merge everything. We are merging everything. After merging it, we are going to reduce the size. Now we have our logo at our fingertips. So the next thing is to go with a brand name. So we have Maureen. Remember, I told you the brand name already. We have a Maureen collection. So we need to look at the font that can specifically beautify our logo. If I go with let's go with a Latif or Lewis George. Let's look at the Lewis George. Can this be okay? Yes, this is okay. So we can actually go for this. But to compare, we can copy, then we change the font with Latif font. So for us to be able to juxtapose between the two fonts, which we actually fit in. So when you look at the two fonts which we actually fit in, so it means this one the Latif font, we actually go with it because I prefer that. It's not really bold and not too tiny. So after we're able to select this, then we use our relative position to position well. Move it in a little bit, then we go with other write-up by putting collection. So we have collections. So here what we are going to do is to reduce the size to a minimal level. Then we'll go to the space in between alphabets to put more space. Then the space we about to cover reach the extreme of the two sides, then we'll put it that way. After that, we use our relative position to position to the center to make everything uniform. If you have to be very careful, at times it's not automatically positioned well. You need to even adjust it a little bit. So, and as you can see, that is what I'm doing. So now it's actually plumb. So the next thing I'm going to do is to just now match the whole thing together. So after merging it, I'm going back to going to the texture. Then I want to go and select a color using a color for it. So good texture. So I believe I should be able to see a color that will work along with that logo. So you look at this, I want to use this. So if it is 100, let's look at how it is. If it is this, because let me reselect so that we pick those area where it's very brighter. So good. Now the next thing to do is to go to my gallery. Under the download, picture, just bring in the background you want to use. So I actually want to use this background because it will beautify the logo. Then you can see how it look. Is it not awesome? So this is how, just a way, simple way on how you can just come up with apparel logo of any type, of any choice. So now you can turn on your grid for you to be able to assess whether you are able to justify the design either to the left or to the right. If you are unable, you can adjust that manually. So now we have a better result, so you can actually see how this look. So we were able to achieve our aim with this, and I believe we all learned something. Is it that you come up with this? I just think of a background I can use that will actually beautify the design, and I'm able to come up with this. So I believe we all learned something. We can still we can add shadow if we actually want it. Let the blur radius to be 2, and your offset y should be 2 as well. Then we come up with this, and you can still adjust this by going to color filter and go to the brightness. So we can, and if it doesn't work, you have to make something with it to make it work. And I believe we all learned something. Thanks for watching. May God bless us. So let's have our design being saved with ultra dimension and format with PNG. Thanks for watching. See you in the next class.